Hi team, welcome to your Move and Flow video. Today we're going to focus all on the wrists. So when it comes down to the floor, we're just going to start, and I'll talk as we move, just really nice and gentle. So we're going to go one hand forward, one hand back, and we're just going to slowly do some gentle rocking. For a lot of people who maybe spend a lot of time at a desk, you're often going to get quite tight in this wrist position, in this forearm, and you might just want to take some time just easing it up. You can always make this easier by just taking that pressure off body weight wise, so don't feel like you have to put loads of pressure on the wrist, especially if you don't do this much. So just switch hands. I'm a right-handed person, so for me, my right side is much tighter than my left. If this is a bit too much, you might just put the hand out, just play around with the position. You might just be doing this, but just try and get a little bit of feeling all the way through. We're going to play lots of different positions. And if you haven't done them before, just take your time. There's nothing worse than trying to push too much and actually making the problem worse. So we'll go the other way now, just to start off with. So we're going to go back of the hands, and we'll do one at a time, we'll just gently move around the back of the hand. It's the same thing, just take your time. We're going to play around with lots of different positions. So this is just a kind of gentle easing of a bit of a warm up. We'll go on the other side. If you do a lot of gripping, pull-up work, barbell work where you're squeezing a barbell, hanging work, this is a lot of time we can spend opening this wrist and this forearm position. So we're just going to go nice circles now. So you can put more weight over or less, but just gently moving through some circles, try and find little positions that you might feel a bit tight in these little corners, seeing if one side feels a bit more, putting more pressure over, more pressure back. You can play around with the position, you can move one hand back, and same thing, you'll feel it differently on different sides. We'll switch to the other side, play around with the circles, play around with the weight distribution, see how it feels. And then we can go with the double, and we can just start to get a little more pressure all the way through. Cool, try and spread your fingers out, try and keep your knuckles relatively straight, especially with that thumb, and try and really open the hand out. Cool, a little bit of a shake off, give it a little bit of a circle, move it around, open it up. We're going to go a little bit deeper, so we're going to go back to that double hand back position. We'll do two at a time. If you want to do single hand, you can, but just for making sure this video isn't too long, I'll do double handed. So you're going to try and create a fist, and then open, create a fist, and open. Try and keep your elbows as straight as possible. It'll be quite tempting to do it like this, but try and keep your elbows relatively straight as you squeeze and open. I find it quite hard to get that complete fist, but just try as best you can. Cool, we're going to keep the fist now, and we're just going to spend a little time going the other way, kind of on the radial deviation. So you're trying to put pressure on the outside and then the inside, switching outside and inside, and just playing around with those positions. Same thing, you can go both ways. It's quite hard to go this way at the same time just because of body weight. So you just create a little bit of a pivot, of a twist. Cool, we're going to get a little bit of kind of momentum. So open, and we're going to close, we're going to drop down, we're going to close back onto the fist, drop it down, back onto the fist, drop it down, back onto the fist, drop it down, back onto the fist. Same thing, have a little shake off. Cool, so we're going to go into like a spider position, like this, and the same thing, we're going to move forward and back. You're going to kind of feel it much more. You can kind of paint little circles as we try and move all the way through little corners of your wrist that you probably haven't paid much attention to. If you're someone who does a lot of front rack work, this is a good thing to do as well. Any kind of martial arts, you're probably doing at least some of these variations. Grappling is another big one on the wrist. So we're going to go a bit more active, so we're going to have a little space apart. I'm almost going to do like a little push-up, and we bend and press through. So we're trying to create that position where we're trying to put a little more force through the wrist, and bending, force through, bend, force through, bend, and bend. Last couple of things on the wrist, like you said, yeah, I can spend lots of time doing different variations, I would spend a bit more time doing the bits that you probably feel you need a bit more of. But we're just going to put the hand far away. You're almost going to push your own body weight into that hand and pull back. So you're almost creating a bit of distraction in that joint by pushing away, and then you're allowing yourself to kind of pull towards you. So you're trying to push away with that wrist and pulling towards, and you'll feel where you kind of feel it, that it's a little tighter. But this is kind of, if you've done similar things with maybe an ankle where you're pushing back into the joint, you might be able to get a little more range as you sit the arm a bit further in or back of the wrist, and it should be able to just come over a little more. So the other side, push away and watch them away a little bit as we come through. Try and keep the elbow relatively straight, and we create that little bit of kind of distraction force, pushing away and bending over that wrist. Cool, last one we're going to do, probably the hardest one positionally for most people. We're going to go double with the inside of the wrist pointing towards each other, leaning over, and maybe try and create that fist and open, make that fist and open. So this is quite a difficult, challenging position. If you've not been in it before, just be nice and gentle. Don't try and push it too much the first few times. For anyone who sits and does a lot of desk work, great to spend some time opening up the forearms. Cool. Thanks for joining me today. Any questions, let me know.